Hey there, and welcome. You're looking at the Hack&Co team from Remax River City, and man, we're excited to talk to you today because our market's probably one of the most interesting markets in Canada right now. And so let's get some introductions out of the way here and let you know a little who you're talking to. Anthony D'Souza, how are you doing this morning?
I'm
Hails from
doing
St.
great.
Albert, taking care of people all over the place. We've also got Cordell Schur. How are you doing?
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Looks like it's going to be a good weekend.
It is going to be a good weekend. Jane Vu, what's shaking over there, Jane?
Yeah, I agree with Cordell. It's going to be a busy weekend coming.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. James, what do you think?
Yeah, same here. The weather's really turned around, so it's going to be a great weekend.
Oh, that's awesome. And Ryan, you
Yeah,
also having a good weekend?
absolutely. We got the weather on our side. It's feeling good.
And we're also in the thick of it. You know, we're approaching May Long Weekend, and that is really like the halftime show to the spring market. And it's where a lot of families get in the game. Like when you think about how many families are about to use May Long Weekend to pack up all their stuff and get it from their home to show home, that's really what you're going to see. So if you're waiting for inventory, I want you to be ready because there is going to be a thick amount of listings that are going to come at the end of May and into early June. But I've also got some unfortunate news. It's not going to be as good as you want because those listings are still going to be outnumbered by buyers. Like we're seeing statistics right now from the Realtors Association of Edmonton. They're giving us this zoomed out look of this wide angle of what's going on in real estate, but we're in the thick of it, right? And when you think about like the buyer experience right now, buyers aren't super confident, right? But sellers are. And hot property is getting a ton of attention. Like Ryan, you and I got to go visit some cool people on a nice night the other night in Parkland County and Greenfield.
Yeah, it was nice. It was kind of like the acreage we looked at was kind of like a picturesque house on the hill. You know, you had nice mature trees coming up. So great
That was
night
a
for it.
cool effect is coming through the trees where it revealed the house. And you wouldn't expect a property like that to have a full suite inside, so you could have like in-laws. But yeah, real showstopper there.
For sure.
So taking a look at houses like that, but then the contrast. We were also in Greenfield, and was that the same caliber of house?
Oh, there are definitely some big differences in price range and also in what you get. But what I really liked about that property was just it was so well maintained over the years. You know, you could tell the owners really took good care of it. Great outdoor space. That fence was rock solid. I think he said he was staining it every 2 years.
Yeah, you couldn't believe it,
So
eh? Like when
yeah,
you guessed how old his fence was, you were thinking that it was 2 years, and how old was it?
I think he said it was 14 or 15 years old. So yeah, I was pretty impressed.
Tony, you know what we're talking about, right? Those well-loved houses. You know how I tell if it's a well-loved house? Like if you get those owners for 30 years and they've kind of like just about to put the cherry on top, is you go into the mechanical room and the floor is like all painted and like kept up, right? Like they've even like done the mechanical room floor. But when we take a look at that house, like what was there in Greenfield, like first owners, there for like 30 some years, and just done everything in that house. If it came in, the market would be so excited that it would very likely have multiple offers. And when we talk about multiple offers, Jane, you've been in the thick of it. Like when
Yes,
you're
I am.
seeing properties come to the market in that like 450 range, how many offers are you competing against with your buyers?
Yeah, in that range is crazy right now. So almost everyone I touch is going to multiple offer, and on the high side it's going to be around 15, 17 offer, and on the lower side it's going to be 5 to 7 offer. So my
Hmm.
buyer kind of worry about that.
Yeah, I bet buyers would be worried about that because like if it's 10 to 15 offers over, like do you think if it was priced at 400, it might go for like 405 or 410?
Not at all. So right now, a lot of seller, also the listing agent, they use the price as a marketing tools to attract more buyer to come to the market. When like buyers see the price, they say, "Oh, this is a very good price," but not really though, because you have to
Hmm.
fight to a lot of another buyer to get it.
I could see that. So when we see these prices as a marketing tool, like how far under do you think it is compared to what the market's about to pay?
I think at least buyer have to pay around like 10% more to get it. At least.
Yeah,
But
the
it's still
market is showing you that it's like what we call in segments, like $25,000 is what the increments that most shoppers will shop in at that price range. And these they're seeing properties that might normally perform in the high like 425 or 435 range, but they're pricing them at 400. And then the buyers competing are actually pushing the prices up further than that.
That's right.
Is that what you're talking about when you say price is a marketing tool?
Yes.
Totally. And
That's
I
what
know
I
that
mean.
some people find this like, oh man, I don't know if that feels good. Like they're juking us into paying more. But the truth of the matter is that sellers do it all the time. Like using price as a marketing tool in luxury, you set a price anchor way above what you think people will actually pay for it. And then you move away from that, and then people see that as them getting a deal off that anchor originally, right? It's a different property, it's a different pricing strategy, and that is no different than this. They're just overpricing it, and here you're seeing an example of driving traffic by underpricing it. So
Right.
Tony, that was something that a technique that you just used. You were listing in St. Albert. You brought a property to the market, and I think the price on that one was 400,000. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so now, when we think about like what normal traffic should be on opening weekend, when you're bringing a listing to the market that is still going to be well received, but let's say that you do what normal sellers do as a mistake. They would set it one segment too high. They would have probably priced this property in the 450, maybe 460 range, right?
That's right.
And then when the market is like, oh, there's a new listing, but not like excited about it, what does traffic normally look like in St. Albert right now?
I think most sellers, if they were higher than they should be listed for, they'd probably see maybe 10 to 15 showings over opening weekend, just because there seems to be a lot of people interested in St. Albert right now.
But Tony, you had 100 showings on opening weekend, like 100 different groups came through.
That's right.
So like you didn't do what normal sellers do as a mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where did you price that property that someone might
So,
have priced at 450, 460?
yeah, I think that we were talking about numbers like 425, even as high as 450 based on some recent sales. But I told them, just knowing the seller situation, that if we listed at 400, this is a guarantee, and we will absolutely see multiple offers. One of the coolest things that we saw happening right before we listed is there was another property similarly priced that left the market without a buyer. So we think that there might have been some issues with it, but whatever happened there made us the most affordable home in St. Albert for a detached property without condo fees.
Which is a great position to be in. So you know that you're no longer looking to get one offer. You're trying to move to this other position where you don't miss any. You're moving
That's
from
right.
fishing with a line to fishing with a net. So very different approach to it. And now a property that would be overlisted at 450, 460 might actually sell at like 425 maybe, depending on how fast they move down the market. But at the end of opening weekend, you had that much traffic. How many offers did you have?
Yeah, we had 21 agents that said they were going to write, but it ended up being 8 confirmed offers that we did receive.
And when we talk about like the post-op of listings, we're supposed to use percentage instead of actual sale price.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from what I remember, this was not something that went over just like by 2% or 5%. Jane was thinking that you might actually have to pay 10% over. But what did the winner actually pay?
So the winner on this one was 12% over list price.
Get your calculators, folks. That's some real cash. And that changed that seller's outcome, because now where it would have actually underperformed if you listed it at that price, you were able to achieve very close to that price. And this is how you had to do it. So using the regular techniques wouldn't have worked. Using price as a marketing tool does work. And that's because people that are uninformed are making offers. Would you agree? Cordell,
Absolutely.
can you talk a little bit about like how that works?
So when we go in and we're deciding to use price as a marketing tool, we're listing either one or even two segments below where the property value might actually be. And so when we list that low, we're going to end up attracting a bunch of people that can actually afford to win this property. So using Tony's property as an example, if you're listing at 100,000, maybe someone's pre-approval or for 400,000, maybe someone's pre-approval is 400,000. So that's what they're going to offer. They're just going to offer full list. And what we call those is packing peanuts. Those low offers that don't have a chance to win are just going to push the people who can actually afford to win up higher.
Exactly. And the idea is when you're looking at this from a buyer's side, don't be a packing peanut. And what I mean by that is don't be an uninformed buyer. If you are making an offer on something totally based on list price and you don't understand market price, if nobody has talked to you about what other properties like this is selling for, you're an uninformed buyer. And if your agent is letting you make moves like this, then, know that that's working against you. Because what will happen is you become the packing peanut to somebody else's sale. That sale sets the benchmark. And the next house like this is going to approach the game based on us recently, setting the price to sale or listing to sale price record in the neighborhood, right? So when these things happen, we pay a lot of attention because as experts, we're not going to do what the average does. And that's going to be a huge outcome difference for the people that actually work with us as sellers and the people on the buyer side, right? Like Jane, when you think about winning multiple offers, you're winning to save your clients from having to pay more for the next property like this.
That's right.
And there's agents that we're talking out there that are writing like 7 and 9 offers with the same clients, just hoping they eventually win one. How many offers are you writing per client in these like high multiple offer situations?
Like the 6 week average, just the second one we can get it already, because the first one my buyer want to know about the market, and the second one they also understanding how the market goes and what strategy going to work with them. So just the second one we can get it.
I like that because like you're giving people great advice, but you're also letting them make their own choices. And unfortunately, sometimes people are like, yeah, you know what? I'd still like to, oh, wow, that house is gone. Hey, like they just,
Yep.
And then when we go back and tell them afterwards what they should have paid for it, like they're like, oh, like it actually sold right in there. And it's like, well, you probably would have been the winner because not everything about winning in multiple offers is about the price.
Right.
Now, recently you had another experience where you're in multiple offers and the agent came back and gave you a counter.
Yes.
And why did they want to work with you?
Because like right now they understand that my buyer have well prepared, they pre-approval, they understand the market, and they know the value of the house. So they know that my buyer like can, once they go pending with us, that's a firm one. So that also help along the line.
And James, like when you're on the listing side, why do you look at this? Why do you care who the agent is that's bringing the offer or how well organized they are and what conversations you've had up to the offer? Like, why does that matter?
So it matters because if you're as a seller, if you go pending with a buyer and 10 days, right before the condition day, they pull out, you've wasted like the 10 most valuable days that your house would have been on the market, because the longer it sits, the less attention you get.
Yeah, and going back to market, you may not be able to simulate that same situation that led to those multiple offers, right? Like Cordell, what's it like being in that situation where it's in the last couple of days before condition removal and you got your fingers crossed?
Yeah, it's kind of a limbo period, right? Maybe communication isn't that good with the agent, or like they're maybe calling asking for an extension. Like the whole goal isn't just to get as many offers and go pending. The goal is to get the best offer that you can see will be able to take you to the finish line. right? That pending period is kind of a limbo, but it's who's the person equipped to take us to the finish line. It's like I've had clients that have accepted less money, but we just felt the people paying a little bit less were more able to actually buy this home versus just take up days on market.
Totally. And that's like really what we're talking about here is the people on screen here are skilled and aggressive agents. Like when you talk about winning in multiple offers against 15 other offers, more often than not, like Jane Vu is who you want with you. You know, she has a ton of really high competition wins. And on the other side, like Cordell, when clients settle for less, I know that it really irks you because I think that your last sale, did you sell it over list price without multiple offers?
Yeah, I
What
did.
the hell? Wait a second. You got over list price and there wasn't even competition.
Yeah, it was just a strategy that I employed. I had full permission from my clients, bring it, like get us a great offer, find something good in the market, and then before even it's all about like using strategies and working agents, right? How you talk to them, what you tell them, what you don't tell them, everything like that, because we're on one side of the team, like we're on one team, they're on the other, right? So we have to get the best for our clients.
So one of the guys who's the greatest negotiator on the planet, this guy Chris Voss, he wrote the book Never Split the Difference. And one of the quotes I love from him is that negotiations are not a game of logic, they are a game of perception. So when we take a look at playing against the other party, it's a lot like poker, but a lot of the time the game is already set for us because when you take a look at that listing coming to the market, thousands of people knew about it before it hit MLS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over 100 of the top agents at Edmonton already knew. They were like, it was like the backfield was already in motion. And then when we put a HACK&Co sign on the front lawn, agents recognize that it is about to have a sold sign. Like we have signs that have sold signs built into them. Like we are ready. We don't list property, we sell it. And so that way, when an agent that is familiar with our real estate team shows up, it's a very different experience. You didn't have somebody approach you saying like, yeah, like how low do you think your clients would accept, right?
No.
You had somebody approaching you like, Cordell, like come on, like how do we avoid multiple offers here?
Yeah.
Like how do we make sure that we don't end up competing against 10 other people?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
So that's the reputation of a top team. That's like the reputation of a top poker player where you can't tell if they're bluffing because the game is on. So it's a big win when we're able to do things like that for our clients. And this is about knowing the statistics. So when you take a look at what's going on in Edmonton right now, when you see the relationships with buyers and sellers, this is not an even playing field. Jane was talking about how hard it is for buyers. Cordell was talking about how you can be aggressive with sellers. So obviously the game isn't even. How skewed is it? What does it mean when we hit 1.8 months of inventory? Meaning that if we didn't list any new properties, in about 45, 47 days, like we'd start running out of property all the way around. Like there'd be nothing for sale. So talk me through that a little bit, Tony.
The last time it was moving this quick, I was waiting outside of a property for showings. There was 8 groups in front of us and about 6 or 7 lined up behind us. And we were just trying to, determine, okay, if you like it as much as you think, what do you think an offer looks like? We're talking to other agents about which one are you going to next? Maybe we should go there first and we'll come back. We're really just trying to figure out.
That was a killer move.
Yeah.
So like you were standing in a group of people and you knew that if they liked this house, they were probably going to go see the other ones on your list. So one, people don't conceive that at all. They think that when you book a showing with a realtor, like that's your private viewing and you're going to go there. And what you're describing is a lineup like it's Disney. A lineup of agents with their clients that are hoping that they may get to see this property. And immediately, Tony goes to disruption. Oh, these people are probably going to see the other places I want to see. I wonder if the lineups are less over there. And he moves his clients over there like they got the fast pass. That's a sweet move. But you saw this, and what time period was this? When was?
That was
When were
back
you
in,
standing in showings or lineups for showings?
yeah, that was like March and April of 2022.
Okay, so in 2022, what was everybody afraid of?
Interest rates going up.
So they're coming in droves, right?
hmm
And like, what happened later in? Yeah, like as it kind of went on that year, what happened later that year?
Interest rates did go up.
And the market slowed down, right?
hmm
Now, right now, we are seeing this trend line into the same position, that super hot market. But before, we all knew that interest rates were looming. It was like, even though the market was hot, it was almost like the rain was coming. What's going to stop us now?
To the moon. Let's go.
What do you think, Cordell?
I definitely don't think it's anything soon. I think the way inventory is flying off the shelf and the way people may be upgrading, downsizing, new to Alberta, new to Edmonton, we're definitely going to be in the thick of this for, I would say, at least 18 to 24 months before things really start to taper off. But I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
And that's what I kind of wonder about, because I normally think that when Alberta booms, it's like 18 to 24 months, right? But now we've seen Calgary running for more than 18 months. And
That's
we're about to start catching, right? And then the other thing is, we were all really excited when Alberta started getting net migration positive at all, because there were many years here where more people were leaving than coming, right? Remember COVID, Tony, when everybody told us they were moving home? Like, everybody was going home. And it was, we were just moving them out. And now we're not just like outpacing our previous selves as Alberta. We're not just outpacing much, much larger and more populated provinces. We're outpacing all of the other countries on the planet. There is no other place that is picking up population like Alberta right now. And so when I think like 18 to 24 months, and I'm asking like what could possibly stop what's happening right now, I look into the future all the time, and man, I can't see anything. Like the only thing that really worries me is what's happening in the geopolitical world, like with war. But aside from that, I really think that this is going to be mega. So these strategies that we're talking about how to win in multiple offers with buyers and how to get sellers uncommon results because the landscape has changed. This is something that we train a lot into. Like, how often do we talk about this stuff, James?
We talk about it basically every morning.
Every morning at Grindstone, right?
That's right. That's right.
Our team meets and looks at how to win. So when we're talking about adapting this fast, it's not like everybody can run these plays immediately. Like, could you imagine these people trying to underprice property when they don't have the marketing behind them that we do? Like, they just put prices under market and then nobody knows about them until they hit MLS, and then they just catch that first offer. That's sad. Tony, you were talking about that this week.
Yeah, the amount of properties I've approached on, day one, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we're already pending." And, I'll be like, "Oh, how many offers?" They're like, "Oh, just one." I'm like, "Well, I went to book a showing and the entire weekend looks like it's packed with showings." And they just said, it's always the seller decided. I don't think the seller, if they had enough information, would decide to take the first offer that came their way when they had a weekend full of showings ahead of them. So it's sad. It definitely is sad because the seller's uninformed.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to go too deep into the statistics, but I do want to go around the room before we close and talk about like people in different situations. I'm going to give you some situations, and I want you to talk about like whether or not that's like a difficult run, or like kind of what you would want to give as advice to somebody that was about to do what you're suggesting, right? So Jane, let's keep going with the theme you're talking about. So if you were about to bring somebody as a buyer into that 4 or 450 range, what's just a couple of things they need to know before they go?
So before they go, I'm gonna talk to them about through the price. When I look at the price and I do the market research, I already know that this one gonna go multiple offer. So before my buyer go to that, I already tell them that this one gonna go to multiple offer, and we're gonna go through the house, see how the house was maintained, or what are the upgrades, and we talk through the steps, how we approach to the listing aid to get the information, and then we sit down to, based on what the listing agent provide me, I'm gonna sit down and talk to my buyer strategy that I'm gonna go in and put the offer.
Absolutely. So I'm hearing a few things. You're going to collect intelligence from the listing agent so that you know exactly how to fire this shot. You're also going to do market research. You know it's going into multiple offers because you know what other similar properties are already selling for, right? And then the other
Yes.
thing is you're going to prepare with your client. So not only game plan, but you're going to be locked in with any financing that you might need. You'll have everything scheduled super tight. So when you take a look
Yes.
at throwing in offers, we're not guessing. Like these are informed decisions, and that's part of the winning on that. James, taking people to builds, like you recently helped somebody build in the $750,000 range, 750-ish. And going into that situation, same kind of thing. Like, what do they want to make sure that they're set with before they go?
Just a full understanding of the process, and in this case, like one of the important things was specifically the timeline, just because they wanted the builder to actually finish the basement, and so working around to make sure that fits in with what works for them, and yeah, that was one of the main things.
A lot of people don't even know the like what's possible. So going in with people that understand what's possible can really be big outcomes. Like you might be looking for a place without or with a garage, and you might see that there's actually some properties for sale that don't have garages. But since they're with builders, we can make deals that build garages, right? And the same thing in this case. You were looking for something with a fully finished basement, nothing available, found a builder, got a deal, and got the basement built so the clients get to move in ready, get like a move in ready experience. That's a sweet move.
Exactly.
Cordell, what do you think about like recent experiences that you've had on the buying side?
Yeah, so I think I've kind of just lucked out a little bit. A lot of properties that my clients have been interested in are more of like niche properties, right? So I did a higher end deal in Fort Saskatchewan, fully finished basement, walkout basement, backs onto a pond. We didn't end up competing in that, but we locked it up on like day one. So we were the kind of offers that make Tony sad, because we just bring them a great offer and they didn't want to compete, everything like that. And then I've been shopping with clients with acreages, right? So acreages aren't as hot in certain areas, right? If you're in Strathcona County, Stern County, they're going to be a lot hotter. But if you go like out west and you're in like Parkland County area-esque, acreages aren't as hot. So getting a deal is slightly possible, but we're not talking, 4 to 5% off or anything like that. But yeah.
I totally agree. And also it's so neat to see that hot and not is like available. Imagine that you took those clients into that place in Fort Saskatchewan, not knowing what climate was there. You would have overpaid for sure.
Oh, 100%. And originally we were looking in Sherwood Park, and let's just say that exact same property was well over $100,000 more in Sherwood Park. And that's why we made the choice to go to Fort Saskatchewan. There was more security in winning, but it was also just paying less for the exact same house and just sacrificing about 12 minutes of drive time.
And we were talking about this yesterday, Ryan. You were taking a look at the stats and analyzing where the moves would make sense. Like, hey, if you're selling this and buying this, you'd actually probably have one of the best experiences that the market can offer you right now. Where were you thinking that some of these smooth roads were?
For sure. So just to build off a little bit on what Cordell was getting into there, someone who might be moving from the hottest segments of our markets between like the 350, 450 range and getting into something like an acreage where you can still have some deals might be a good move to go.
That's a sweet move. And also like those folks that are downsizing. If you're selling one of these move-in ready houses in the 4 to 450 range, like the amount of attention that you're going to get with the right marketing will make you giggle. And then if you're doing that to go into the apartment style condo range, like is that the last place in Edmonton or the greater Edmonton area you can still really get a good deal?
It's starting to look that way for sure. And it wouldn't be right if we didn't include kind of the elephant in the room, which is, we have, like you said, a lot of migration here. A lot of investors that are used to hot markets, they're aggressive, and they see that they have a lot of buying power here. Their money they're getting from their sales is going to go a long way, and so there's definitely some sharks in the water, so to speak.
Yeah, and we've been seeing them as well. Jane, you've had some people that come in and they're so surprised at the price of houses here, they think they might want to buy them in doubles.
Yeah, they like, oh, this house only like 660. We can pay another 20,000 to win the multiple offer. That's like nothing there. If I buy this one in BC, it's like about 2 million there. I'm like, yeah, but here it's just like
So
that.
it's buy one get one free.
Yeah, buy one get one for free. And you still have some extra cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the market's going up so hot here, and that's what's attracting all these investors. So when you take a look at dynamic markets across Canada, I argue that find better statistics than here. Find a better place to put your money over the next 12 months than here. We're seeing it for easy 18 to 24 months from the amount of massive, like the forces that are making this change are so large. And the funny thing is that there's a bunch of people sitting on the fence right now saying, well, interest rates are going to go down and I'll just wait. If interest rates are going down, all of the competition that you have for buying just got more resources to fight you with. Sellers are
Right.
going to win if interest rates go down in Edmonton, full stop. And before we close, I do have to say, you know what? We have so many people that own condos and they're like, is it time? Is it time? Is it time? It's not time yet. I want you guys to know that if you can control your timeline, hang on. Those numbers keep getting better. We're saying that the deal on condos is closing and they won't really start jumping in price until the deal closes. But we've never seen it soak up inventory like this. So just hang on. It's really moving in the right direction for you. And I'm afraid of the people that get off the bus right now. If you don't have a real reason to get off the bus and you own a condo, hang on to that, because investors with business analysts are buying them in massive amounts. And that's because they know dollar for dollar they're going to get some winners here. Is there anything else I'm missing before we close off?
I don't think so.
Okay. Are you guys ready to have the best spring in real estate in Edmonton history?
Let's go. It's time
sir.
to win.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm going to say bold prediction. By the time the 2024 is done, they're really not going to talk about 2007 ever again. That was like the last time that we saw this big boom, and this is going to make that one look like a ripple. So get ready, and if you own real estate in Edmonton right now, I want you to press your ear very close to the wall of your house because you can actually hear the cash going up. It's time. And we're so happy that Edmontonians and Sherwood Parkians and St. Albertians, St. Albertites, that you guys are having such a great experience. It's meaningful to us that your families are gaining equity, and that's building your financial future. So thank you so much for talking about the market with us. I hope everybody does really well. And if you need to talk about real estate, if you want to know what that house sold for down the block, if you want to know about going to see the one across the street, 780-909-6770 is on this side of the screen. And that's our fast agent hotline. And that's where you can reach somebody who's going to be able to help you right away, because we don't want to leave you waiting for a call back from someone else. So you can call us right away. Hope you're doing awesome. Cheers.
Bye, guys.